So you're never too old to learn anything. I mean, Google's your friend, you get on the internet, you'll find how to do something and be inspired by that. You know, open a restaurant, do what makes you happy, what does it at the end of the day, but you have to focus on it.
I'm in the home of Sarah Mitchell. You will soon hear she has a gorgeous British accent. She has reinvented herself recently, and we're going to find out more about that. But first, she's going to give us a tour of where her new life takes place.
Come on down, let's have a look.
What do you do in this space?
This space I kind of record myself for TV and film, and I create from my office home studio, and I've got all my pictures of everything and all my scripts and my theatre books. Okay, here we go. Come and have a look at my booth. This is where the stuff real happens. As you can see, I'm recording, so that tells my husband not to ask me for what's for lunch. Can we come in here?
Oh, wow.
Isolation booth home studio. It's absolutely solid. You can't move it. It has to stay. I'm going to go inside. So testing, 1, 2, 3. Never tap a mic. That was really bad.
Sarah, tell me about your background.
Oh.
You're obviously not from these parts.
I'm from another country. Yes. Not around here. That's funny. Yeah, originally from London, just outside of London, a place called Chesham in Buckinghamshire.
And what did you study as a young person?
Theatre mainly.
Theatre?
Theatre and theatre performance.
With
mainly.
plans to?
I'm not sure. Plans to become an actor, a stage actor in the London West End, but there's hoops you have to go through as a kid to get to that sort of stage. You know, joining the union, that sort of stuff. I mean, sometimes your life just takes you off in a different direction, really.
What direction did your life take off in?
Well, I went and did recruitment consulting, and I did all sorts of things that, office work, and I decided that I really didn't like working for other people, and being told what to do, that sort of stuff. It's just really hard. And turning up 9 to 5, and it wasn't creative, and so you look for other things to do there. So you join a community theatre wherever you are. I joined a community theatre in Singapore and got to know my people, just be around creative, talented people.
Wait, why were you in Singapore?
Our husband works for a computer company, so we had to move there for about 2.5 years.
And what brought you to the United States?
My husband's job brought us here. I couldn't work, what's a shame, for a while because of the visa situation. When you first come, you're an accompanying spouse, so
Very difficult.
So you have to look around for something to do, and I joined the local theatre, and 20 years later I was running it. So it kind of, wherever you go in the world, you'll find theatre people, and you'll find your crowd, your creative crowd. But we moved here with 26 boxes, 4 suitcases, and a 4-year-old boy.
And you were how old?
I have to work that out.
I know, right? Math. Me too. I'm terrible at that.
I don't know. It was in my 30s.
In your 30s?
Yeah. So, I've had 2 children since then who are American citizens, obviously by birth, and I figured I may as well become a citizen because I want to get involved in local things and local arts and local government, that sort of stuff.
I'm a big proponent of that.
So I became a citizen. So I'm very proud to be able to vote in the general elections.
That's wonderful.
And the local elections. So that was kind of one of the things, and I didn't want to be thrown out either. So.
Before you were running the theatre, were you teaching, directing,
Yes, a lot.
Performing?
All of the above.
All of the things.
All of the above. I ran a improv class for adults, and I did summer camp with 4 to 5-year-olds, my first theatre camp, that sort of stuff, when I was allowed to work. And then doing the theatre, the community theatre, we did 5 shows a year, a big Christmas production with lots of kids.
When did you have a new idea?
A new idea? Well, when you're producing 5 or 6 shows a year, it's a lot. And I wasn't really getting into the shows themselves because we can only do so many British comedies. in the US. So we do a lot, and they love them here. I mean, the next one I'm doing is a British comedy, because people love the slamming doors and all the British accent, that sort of stuff. There's only a certain amount that you can do in a season for a theatre company, and I wasn't getting cast in the roles, and inherently I love to act. And I was driving around Atlanta, and I heard a QT advert, and it was about a king was in his, and he was talking about his castle, and I'm like, okay, castle, that's not a king, he would be castle, you see. And I was like, is that a thing? I called my friend Jeffrey Umberger, who's voiceover agent, and I said, why is this a thing? Because he didn't sound British. He said, you need to get a demo and get yourself set up, because, you know, we love the British accent here. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. So 3 years later, training and getting a demo and that sort of thing, I had a shiny demo, and he started to represent me. And
took you 3 years to get the demo.
Yeah, because you have to train, but your voice is different, it's a different way of acting. As theatre's different way of acting, film and television is.
Exactly.
And voice acting is very similar. So it's all in your body, or the whole body again, it's just not just your voice. So it is using your voice acting. So you're trying to bring characters to life. You have to pull out, I did a book for 55 characters recently. So you have, each one is very, very
You were
different.
each character?
Each character when you voice them. So you have to have like a range, whether you can do female voices, male voices, and when you can do children's voices as well. So you have to sort of practice. We're not all of us are Harry Potter, you know, the Harry Potter, you know, that sort of stuff. So they're not all fun voices like that. And of course, there's a whole genre of voiceover that you can do. For example, I do a lot of work for IBM and UPS with regard to being the British voice. So if they're an international company, they'll use my voice. British female is supposed to be one of the best to listen to when you're learning.
It is
something.
pleasing.
Thank you. And when you're supposed to be learning something, if you're hearing it, a British accent, apparently you pay more attention to that sort of stuff. So that's where my business comes from, is international stuff. It's not all fun and games and stuff like that.
It's not all character
It's not
voices.
all characters, but it's you're using your voice, and you're using your emotions and all your training you've done and all the characters you pull out to produce stuff. It's fun. And every day is different. Every day is different.
Not only training had to be done, but obviously we saw your incredible
in my booth. Well, originally I started
sound capsule.
Sound capsule. It is really. It's almost. It's kind of so isolated that I have
Beam
to
me up.
Beam me up. I've got this that kind of ring thing in there. I need to know who's at the front door. But I started off in the closet in here, and my husband was recording something for his company, and I said to him, "Can you stop a minute? There's the postman coming. Can you stop a minute? The next door neighbour's dog's losing it. Can you stop a minute? There's an aircraft. Somebody's come. The UPS man, the FedEx." And he was like, "You have to put up with this?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So what he did was, over 9 months, he been doing his regular job, and then he built it at the weekend in the sweaty 90-degree heat in our garage, and he's built it out of MDF. It's a door box, which is very heavy and you can't move it. We had 8 of our lovely neighbours move in and come and help us move it. And in there I am isolated from sound. I can't even hear, for example, my neighbours are blowing their garden. You can't hear that because it's all soundproof.
I love it.
But it took a long time to get it, but that was kind of the technical side is the hardest part, is learning the software to record your voice and edit your voice and get rid of, we were talking about pops and clicks and mouth noise and that sort of stuff. It takes time to learn. But
Did you take classes to learn the editing, or
yes.
Self-taught?
Yes, I did. Yeah, and Google's your friend, as you know. So
Yeah.
and the voice.
That's why we can do anything now.
Exactly. Well, the voiceover industry is really supportive as well. There's lots of mentors out there. I'm a member of World Voices, which means it's from all over the world. We come together and help each other and mentor. I have a problem with this. How do I fix it? And someone will help you.
Beyond the technology, what other challenges at that stage in your life did you experience?
But it's marketing. I'm in business now. It's now the business
For yourself.
for myself, for voiceover. So I have to motivate myself. I have to do all my own invoicing, everything that it comes from me, my own website, that sort of stuff. So you build, literally from nothing to what I'm doing. It's a journey. It definitely is. And I learn a lot of lessons on the way. But I think I was just very focused. I gave up theatre, which was so sad. Because obviously I love it, but I had to literally focus on it, and people would ask me to do things. I say, I'm focusing on this. I'm doing a bit of film and television, but I'm going to do voiceover because I really enjoy it. And that was the toughest part, of saying no to people.
The voiceover mission led to also film and television?
Yeah. Yes, it did. I did an on-camera acting class. with Robert Pralgo, who is a very, very well-known local actor here. And he was filming a film called Star Trek. It was an honour thing. He said, we need some background people. Would you come? Oh, yeah. So I went to the set. We started at 9 o'clock at night and ended at 4 o'clock in the morning, which I was like, I'm 55 years old. What am I doing? What am I doing? But it was really interesting watching the actors work, and I thought, I can do that. I could do that. I could just learn my lines, show up and say it 5 or 6 times. I can do that. Yeah, it'll be fun. And it's been addictive ever since. So I'm very blessed that I've got the voiceover and the on camera, but I'm very niche market. It's kind of like if you need an over 50s British in your film, that's who I am. But also I've helped people with their British accents. There's nothing worse than hearing an American do an accent and it's incorrect pronunciation.
A running theme with many of my guests is along the way there were key women or groups of women, their tribe, if you will, who were encouraging and helpful. And you mentioned to me that's true with you as well.
Absolutely. I think you do find your tribe, your people that have your back and watch out for you. They can be women and they can be men, but I have a mentor called Deborah Richards who means the world to me. She encouraged me, she helped me with my demo, she helped me with my training and pushed me and said, you can do this, yes you can do this. So I think it is good to have people behind you. And I think the voiceover industry especially is very supportive, because I'm not going to be a competition for you, for example, if you use your voice, you're an American white female, whereas, there's so many different voices and my voice is very different from everybody else's. But it's kind of like having people push you behind, and Deborah was definitely one of those that did that for me, definitely. She's... what are you doing today? How many auditions have you been doing? Because that's what you do, is you audition.
An accountability partner.
Accountability, yes it is. And I met I've got a lovely friend in Rhonda who's in Colorado who I met at a conference, and she's supportive too. People call and recommend me for things. If somebody asks for a British voice, they'll say, I know Sarah. And I know it's one of the females out there that would, rise up, rising tide carries all boats.
Having each other's back.
Absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
wonderful. Advice. Ooh. Clearly, well, you had a background in theater. You weren't a schmuck,
no,
as I like to say, but it's not too late. Is the lesson I'm hearing.
No, absolutely.
So for the person who's said, I want to be in my community theater, or I want to try that, or I want to maybe go be an extra in a film and see what that feels like. What is your advice?
Do it. Just do it. There's resources out there, Facebook groups that will help you do that. If you want to join the local community theatre, go, turn up, do the audition. Go and do it. If you've done theatre in high school, it doesn't matter if you're 50 or 60. We need older people, more representation in movies and film and theatre. There's always something going on. And if you don't get a role in the play, become backstage, work backstage, because then you can watch what's happening, engage, and then gather. And then they'll get to know you and they'll say, yeah, come on, Sharon, you can come and be in the play. Or with the voiceover, if you want to do voiceover, you think you've got a nice voice, you're reading to your kids or your grandkids, and you're doing all these funny voices, and they say, well, you've got a nice voice. It's more than that, though. It's more than that voice. So just say, but there's a whole load of, but just research it. And there's lots of people out there who want to help you, I promise you.
And you said you took classes.
Just look them at local classes. And then I did an on-camera class as well, just to get...
Were you the oldest in your class?
No, I was not.
See?
No. And I just love it, because, if you're filming things, it's not all young, beautiful people. There's older people in all sorts of things. In voiceover, they need the old judge in the comedy. I've just done a video, an animation audition for an old lady, really old. She did all sorts of funny voices. So it doesn't matter what you look like in voiceover. And ladies can get into theatre. We need older ladies in, Blithe Spirit. You need older ladies in film. They need, regular looking people, not just. They need people in the restaurant. You can't have somebody on film in a restaurant with just the two of them. It's really pretty sad. So they're obviously not very busy, and it's fun, and you get treated really nicely, and people are always super friendly. I definitely were. And we all had to be new at some point in our lives. Just do it. Just go for it. That's what I say.
That's great advice.
Yeah,
great advice. Something else you said, though, that resonated with me is the focus. There's so many things I love and I'm interested in. when you're stepping out and trying something new, having that focus,
Yes,
investing
absolutely.
the time in it.
Yeah. It's going to take time and energy. It's not just, I mean, all say 10,000 hours for most things, don't they? If they play the cello, it's going to take you a long time. It does take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight. There's no such, when you see the overnight successes, that aren't overnight, and women that come to theatre and film when they're a lot older, the Golden Girls are a classic example. It's kind of, you need a granny in the set, No, because it's normalising everything. We're not all skinny. We're not all size 2. We're blonde, we're black, we're brown, we're all sorts of colours, and that can come into the theatre as well. I mean, yeah, just go for it. That's what I say. Just find someone to help you with it as well, to mentor you as well. I think it's really important you find a woman that has done the same thing, mentor, and say, how do I get into that? Because people will be more than happy to help you. Absolutely.
I find that.
Yeah.
Just doing what I'm doing
Yeah.
now, this crazy venture. Where would I be without the people who are
Supporting you,
pushing me and mentoring me and helping me solve problems and learning new technology and skills?
So you're never too old to learn anything. I mean, Google's your friend. You get on the internet, you'll find how to do something and be inspired by that. Open a restaurant, do what makes you happy. What does it at the end of the day? But you have to focus on it. You can't be doing like 8 or 9 different things, because it won't get you to the on the road to the journey where you need to be to get to where you want. You have to focus.